at medium speed. Slowly add dry ingredients. Switch to a dough hook. Knead it until dough pulls aside from the mixing bowl. So,
Okay, so we're live.
there.
Yes, we are.
Place dough in a lightly oiled bowl.
All right, guys, so we're going to be doing some cinnamon rolls today. My sister here, she's a pastry chef, and she's going to teach me how to make cinnamon rolls. We're going to do this in the Lodge 9x13 casserole. So this is the first time that we do it live, and let's see how it goes. All right, Martha, take it away. What are we doing?
So the recipe calls that we need to go ahead and get all of our wet ingredients all together. We do already have pre-started our yeast with the milk. So we have our room temperature butter, eggs, and we have our flour. In our flour, we already have the salt and sugar mixed in together. We already sifted everything as the recipe calls for. So now we're just going to go ahead and add, our butter.
And guys, just so you guys know that we are actually going to be using Lodge's, from the Lodge website, their recipe, and that's the recipe we're going to follow. So if you guys are looking for the recipe, you guys can find it there. And this is the cinnamon roll recipe that they have on Lodge.
So I'm just mixing the butter a little bit so that it just breaks down a little bit better. So it's not so chunky. So in a way we're kind of creaming the butter slightly. So now that it's a little bit more broken down, now I'm going to scrape the bowl so we can scrape the butter. Bring it all together. So I'm going to mix it just a little bit more. Just so that I don't have the chunks. Now that we have our butter broken down a little bit more creamier, we're going to go ahead and add the eggs.
Did you mention the recipe, Martha?
No, I have not.
All right, so guys, this classic cinnamon roll recipe is, like I mentioned, you can find it on their website, lodgecastIron.com. And so the ingredients you're going to need are going to be, well, actually, we can just show you the paper. So that there is for the dough itself. Here we got the filling. And then here we also have the frosting. And if you guys want to just snapshot these, we're going to be doing, these are the directions to get the rolls going. For the frosting. And as I mentioned, guys, you guys can just check their website just in case. It is intermediate level. Cook time about 20 minutes, but it does take about 2 hours to get the dough to rise.
So now we're going to go ahead and it says to go ahead and start adding, after we added all of our wet ingredients, I'm going to go ahead and add of our the milk with the yeast.
Yeah, and as you can see, guys, here we have the yeast. We put it in lukewarm water. My sister, yeah, right?
Milk.
Oh, right.
The recipe
The milk,
calls for milk.
milk with active dry yeast, or you can use, what was the other one?
It calls for you can go ahead and use
Either one, I guess. It's active or
the instant yeast
oh, instant.
or active dry yeast.
Yes.
The one we're using is the active dry yeast for this recipe.
A little background about my sister, guys. She's done pastry or I guess you could say pastry work. She's worked at many restaurants. What was it? Did you work in San Francisco?
No, I went to culinary school in San Francisco. After that, I lived in Vegas for 10 years. I worked at several five-star, five-diamond hotels. I also worked with Giada De Laurentiis at the Cromwell.
In Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas. And then now I'm here in Reno.
And hopefully soon she's gonna start up her own cafe or shop.
So now that we have our ingredients here, our wet ingredients all mixed together, we already sifted our flour like I mentioned earlier. It does have the sugar and salt there as well. So what we're just going to do is just to slowly pour it in into the bowl.
You have the mixer on medium low?
Yes, it's a medium low setting right now. So I'm going to go ahead and you always want to, of course, bring, probably turn it off on the first batch of flour that you do.
And guys, this is already pre-measured out. We did that. That's why she's just scooping it in.
And, so that the flour won't go anywhere. You definitely just want to go ahead and start slow. And you don't want to over mix it right away. So what you do is just get it mixed a little bit. And then you add a little more.
You know what? Yeah, she's right about the slow because I obviously don't have as much as experience. And when I first started using the machine, I remember I cranked it really high, and there was flour all over the place.
Yes, you definitely always want to go slow. No rush in mixing it. So you want to go ahead, but you don't want to start over mixing it right away. You just want to get most of the flour wet without over mixing it. And I always bring my bowl down just so that you can add your flour. It's just easier so that it gives you more hand room, from the bowl and the paddle.
And the mixer that you have is a 7-quart?
It's a KitchenAid 8-quart. This is an 8-quart mixer.
Do you think that if they had a 4-quart or the 5-quart, it would work?
With the amount of flour that we have, yes, you can do a 5-quart. I won't go anything lower than that, just because it is a bigger,
Can you do this?
quantity.
Can you do this recipe without a mixer, or?
No, you definitely need the mixer, just because the dough, right now we're mixing it with a paddle just to get all the ingredients together. But as soon as it comes together, we're going to switch to a dough hook, and that's what's going to go ahead and finish off this dough. And the recipe does say to go ahead and switch it to a dough hook for 5 to 6 minutes.
And you got the paddle, right? The paddle.
Right now we have the paddle attachment just to bring all the ingredients together. And I don't have it. I have it at a very low speed just so that we don't have anything flying off the bowl. And And like I said, you definitely don't want to overdo it, so you gotta be patient when, you know, it takes a few minutes for it to come together.
Oh, and Jackson Walter just commented. I missed his comment. Let's see if I can actually see it. Yeah, he said, you definitely need a mixer. I tried once by hand and it took forever. It didn't come out well.
Yes, with these doughs, so you definitely want the power of the mixer, just because it needs to be it needs the kneading, you know, for 5 to 6 minutes like this recipe in order for it to come out smooth and so that everything is incorporated nicely. So when you do spread it, you know, everything is together. If you knead it by hand, you know, it will take longer, but sometimes you can over mix it, and you know, you definitely don't want to over mix it. So it's slowly coming together. You can kind of tell that the mixer is already having with the paddle a little bit of an issue, just because it's, you know, it's coming together, so the dough is getting harder to mix, you know, at a slow speed.
Does it say how long we have to use the paddle?
It doesn't say exactly on the it only gives you that when it comes together, then you can switch it, you know, to. So it's crumbly right now. So what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and switch it now.
And the directions guy says, in a stand mixer with a paddle attachment, mix wet ingredients at a medium speed. Slowly add the dry ingredients, and then after that, it just says switch to a dough hook attachment,
Yeah.
and then knead until your ingredients start to pull. The dough starts to pull from the sides, and it says roughly about 5 to 7 minutes. I mean, but those are just rough. It just depends.
So I'm switching now from the paddle to the dough hook. And then this should bring it back together. Now, like once again, I'm starting a little bit slow, just so that the dough hook will start bringing all the dough and all the ingredients together. It might take a little bit longer than 5 to 6 minutes for what I can tell.
And guys, I know that I didn't really announce a live. Honestly, this was just something that my sister has been wanting to do something together. And this, you know, today we decided it'd be a great day to do this. So we just kind of out of the blue, I just said, well, I wanted to record and then edit the video and upload. But, you know, we have the live feature available to us now. So we wanted to give that a shot. And I know I should have put out a message or perhaps, you know, a notification just letting you guys know that we're going to do a live. But either way, you know, this is hopefully going to upload to the channel after we're done, and you guys can see it afterwards. So if you missed it today, that's fine. Like I said, I know very short notice, but as I mentioned, we're doing some cinnamon rolls. For those of you that just got here, we're doing the Lodge recipe cinnamon rolls, and you can find that recipe on their website. We're going to follow theirs, and we'll see how it turns out. We're going to also use that 9x13 casserole, and I think that's the only one we're going to use, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and we're also going to do the filling, but I don't know if we're doing that filling. My sister mentioned that she wanted to do something else.
Well, instead of the icing, we will use icing, but I was thinking about doing a German chocolate filling. I think that, you know, it goes well with the season that we're in right now, which is obviously, you know, Christmas Eve. I think it will, you know, I believe it's going to add a little bit more flavor to the cinnamon rolls. So we'll see how, you know, at the end we'll go ahead and show you guys how we're going to put everything together at the end after this mixes comes in all together.
And Jackson Walter commented, German chocolate filling with the face emoji.
I know it's more obvious ingredients will definitely add a different flavor to our cinnamon roll.
And to be honest, guys, I have no idea what she's talking about because I've never tried it. So for those of you that have tried the, what is it, German
Chocolate filling.
German chocolate filling, I'm sure that it's going to be great. So she always comes up with these things that we don't know much about, but she has more experience. So we're going to follow that. But like I mentioned, you guys can follow the recipe on their Lodge website. And either way, we're just going to continue here and let's move it down a little so you guys can see what's going on.
So like I mentioned earlier, the recipe does call for, for the amounts. We added the amounts, but this seems to be taking a lot longer to come together, with the dough cook. It doesn't seem like it's going to be 5 to 6 minutes. It seems like it might be longer. I think it needs a little bit more, maybe a little bit more milk. I believe is what we're going to end up adding to bring it together. The recipe does call for 1 cup, but it does have 4 cups of flour. So we're going to go ahead and then the two eggs and the butter as well. But it doesn't seem to be coming together, so I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit more milk to it.
All right.
No.
Well, what are we looking for? Milk?
Yes, just a little bit more milk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this coming?
Oh yeah, that's more than enough.
Okay.
We won't use all of that, but
And as always, guys, these recipes, they always vary. And if you've never, done this or you have your own, obviously you know how to do this. But if you're following someone else's recipe, sometimes you got to adjust, and that's something normal. And like I mentioned, we're using this recipe, and this is the first time that we use this recipe from Lodge. And so far, everything's going good.
alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and measure out just 1/4 of a cup of the lukewarm milk. I don't believe we're gonna go ahead and use all of it, but just so that I can measure out the extra amount we're adding to it. I'm just gonna pour in a little bit at a time, just so that we bring it together, because it seems like it's not coming together as it should.
Oh, and Jackson Walter just mentioned smooth sailing so far. And he says he's sure it'll come out. Thank you, Jackson Walter, for the comments. Like I mentioned, guys, this is our first time doing the live, so I do appreciate your feedback. Let me know, guys, what you guys think about this. If you guys need more, or if you guys like the volume for the audio or anything like that, just let me know, guys, in the comments. If you guys can hear my sister really well, or we need to speak a little louder.
So I'm letting this milk just work into the dough. I don't want to overdo it because I do see the wetness still on the bowl, so I don't want to add milk. So I'm just letting it work, come together. So, because we could possibly just probably need it maybe 1 tablespoon of milk. just to bring it together because it seems like it's more doughy now. Earlier, it seemed like it was just having a hard time. It was very crumbly.
Everybody's saying that the audio's good so far. For those of you that are here watching, we appreciate, we do know this is Christmas Eve, and we're doing this for Christmas Eve. And this is just something that my sister wanted to do, like I mentioned, for a while now. And so we appreciate you guys, spending your time here watching us.
It is Christmas Eve, and we definitely have all the family here, so you will hear a lot of background noise.
Yes, we do have a large family, and that's actually my dog barking. She sees her mom there. Oh my goodness.
So it is coming together nicely. I think it definitely just needed a little bit more milk. I'm halfway through the one quarter of a cup. So I'm going to add just a little more. It might need the full quarter of a cup of milk, but it's coming together nicely now.
And I'm gonna be honest, guys. This seems like a very tedious thing to do, but my sister has the patience for this. Hence why she's a pastry chef. So for me, I like baking, but I'll be honest, guys. I kind of half. I don't do it as great as I should. Sometimes I don't have the patience, and then I always am like, well, let's hope it turns out. I always say that, like, I'll cross my fingers, hope it works. But with my sister, I just feel like she's more. She's more patient for it. So.
Well, it is coming together now. I do have the patience for this, just because I believe that our cinnamon roll dough will definitely turn out well. I don't know if you remember from earlier, it was very crumbly and very tough. Now the dough hook is actually catching the dough, so it's definitely a lot more moisture in there, which it definitely needed that. It needed that extra moisture on that. So we're definitely coming together now. So I believe we're, maybe adding an extra quarter of a cup of milk to the recipe might help. Because that's exactly what I measured. So I believe that this is all the milk that we're going to need to bring it all together. And I am helping the dough catch the rest of the, always be very cautious about this because it is dangerous. It can be dangerous if you're not careful. It can catch your hand, so you gotta just be very careful.
I wouldn't dare put my hand in there, but.
I've been doing this for more than 10 years, so I'm very comfortable, doing a lot of the things that maybe a lot of people are not. So please don't try it if you're not comfortable with the machine. I am holding the bowl with my hand also, just to make sure that because it is tougher, as you can tell now that it's coming together slowly, but you can also tell that the dough hook, it's really mixing it now. So I am holding it, with my left hand. I'm holding the bowl, just because it is a tougher dough, and you don't want your bowl to detach from your machine if it were to happen.
And here, guys, so you guys can just kind of see how it's turning out. We're gonna try and see if we can scoot here.
And right now I have it at a slow speed. It's not even a medium speed yet. I will eventually turn it into a medium speed, but right now I'm allowing the dough hook to go ahead and just bring it together. Bring all the dough together. So you will see it in a few minutes. When I do turn up the speed, you will see it a big lump of dough, and it's just going to be slapping in. You want that slapping to happen because that's at the same time the dough is warming up a little bit, so it's keeping your yeast active as well. So I did turn it up a little bit, just one more speed. On mine it's right now at a 3, speed, so it's not even high yet, or medium high. It's, maybe consider it medium. So now you see how it's really catching it. And that's exactly what you want. You want your dough to really work it and catch it as well. And it's not going to be very soft. So don't think that the dough is going to be super soft because it's not. That's the whole point of letting it rest because it will be a tougher dough right now. And then when we let it rest, after the 2 hours, we'll come back and show you guys, you know, the results of the dough after it has rested. And you will see such a smooth, nice, you know, dough. And that's when we gotta punch it, you know, and we continue the rest of the steps so that we can flatten it out our filling and then, you know, go ahead and cut and get our cinnamon roll baking.
Yeah. Oh, and there was actually a couple people that made some comments. Let me see if I can find them. So Tyler, he says, when will we see the new butter pat? Guys, I have recorded the video, but I have not uploaded it yet. I'm hoping that I can do that by the end of the day today, and I'll upload that video on the butter pat. Let's see, who else? Sylvia, she says it looks good. So we also have family that's in the chat. Thank you guys.
So I did turn it up to medium now, just so that it kind of brings it, you know, a little bit more together. Like I said, you know, we want to make sure that it really binds everything, you know, together and makes it into one big lump.
Yeah.
That is the goal. So it is getting there.
And as you can see, guys, that's, I mean, yeah, it is taking time, and it is like what my sister was saying, the dough has to slap the sides of your mixing bowl. And let's see, we also have a couple more messages. Bruno, hello, Luis. I wish a great Christmas to you and your family. Thank you, guys. And Bruno, you know, you guys, I know some of you now are, you know, my usuals. You guys are always commenting, leaving me messages. I want to take this time to just say thank you, guys. Thank you to everybody. You know, so far we're going to be getting close to 1 year of the channel. And I do appreciate your guys' time, as always. You know, I always say it at the end of my videos. So, and you know, we wish you guys as well a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. But like I mentioned, I should have put out an announcement letting you guys know we were planning to do a live. Next time we plan to do another one, I will, you know, announce it. But I do appreciate you guys, for those that you are here, you know, right now, leaving comments. As always, thank you guys. Jackson Walter, no problem. You put out great content, so we appreciate you for that. Thank you, guys.
So now I'm just letting it do the work that the recipe calls for, 5 to 6 minutes. You know, and you can see that it is coming together. Definitely better than it was earlier. Earlier it was very crumbly and it didn't seem like it was getting any work done. So, and now definitely.
So what's the consistency that we're looking for?
I would say probably very similar to a pizza dough consistency. You know, we don't want it to overdo it, but pizza dough is a little bit like this, but softer. And then this one is not as soft, but it does need to come completely together, all together, which it is definitely coming all together.
And like I mentioned, guys, you know, patience is a key to getting great, you know, baking results. And I always feel like I lack that. So, I mean, my sister, she's great at this, like I mentioned. So, yeah, it is going to take time. And to be honest, guys, on this video, or I'm sorry, on this recipe, it does say that we have a, you know, for the classic cinnamon roll, it does mention that it is an intermediate level. So, I mean, if you guys are comfortable with baking, you guys are more than, you know, able to do this. If you guys are a little, you know, beginners like me, I wouldn't do this by myself. This is why my sister mentioned that she'd help me, you know, guide me through these steps. But as I mentioned, you know, this is just something that we put together. And here I'm going to show again the ingredient list in case you guys want to see this, along with the filling, frosting. So, and real quick, we'll just put up the directions. But like I mentioned, guys, you guys can find this recipe on the Lodge website. It is their cinnamon roll, classic cinnamon roll recipe. And you will need the cast iron casserole. That's what they recommend. And we do have that. I actually did buy one.
Alright, so now that it definitely has come together, it finally has come together, so it did need it. I did add in the extra quarter of a cup of the milk, extra milk. And now this is exactly what we wanted to see, is the dough come together completely. So it finally has. Now that it's been, it certainly was more than 5 to 6 minutes, but now the dough, it's definitely warm. You can, when you guys make this recipe and you guys get to this point, you will feel that your dough is definitely warm. It's definitely a lot more softer than what it was earlier, but it's not as sticky, and it's definitely not as, soft, like super, super soft. So I'm just going to finish it off by hand, and then it does call for us to go ahead and let it, and I'm not going to knead it or anything, I'm just going to bring it all together. But it does say to go ahead and let it rest for 1 to 2 hours on the recipe, so that's exactly what we're going to do. And then later we'll just go ahead and come back and then show you guys our results, after it does rest. So, stay tuned. We'll definitely be back in a couple hours, and then we'll show you, after it does rest, and then we'll finish them off with our filling.
All right, guys, and as always, I appreciate your guys' time for watching us. What we're going to do is, so we're just going to end this live, and then later down, at nighttime, I will post a video of how it turned out, and we'll most likely record it. That way you guys can see everything that the process is to make these. But for now, I think we're going to end the live here, just because what's the next thing is waiting. We have to wait. As my sister mentioned, we have to let the dough rise. So obviously we're not going to sit here and let that, have you guys be with us watching this and have the dough rise. We're not going to do anything right now necessarily. But like I mentioned, we'll post a video. And for those of you that tuned in to watch this, I appreciate it. Like I mentioned, I know I should have put out a message letting you guys know about this. So, but as always, guys, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, say bye, Martha.
Bye.
All right, let's see.
So now we're just going to go ahead and add some plastic so it doesn't dry on our dough.